Welcome to another episode of The Captain's Run with Cameron Smith. Smithy, it just doesn't stop.
How are we, Kempy?
Mate, it doesn't stop. The news is just pouring out this week. We've got MRCs, we've got blokes getting called up to the office. What's going on, Smithy?
I don't know. It's silly season at the moment. It's always silly season, isn't it?
Seriously?
Coming into finals,
Yep.
everyone's a little bit on edge. The coaches are on edge. The players are on edge.
Yep.
The fans. We are. Why are we on edge?
I don't know, Smithy.
There's
but
no need for us
I
to
think
be on
as a
edge.
winger, I was always kind of on edge because I was going to get dropped the next week. So I got used to living like that.
Mate, not when you're scoring 4.
Well, that was the only week. That was the greatest week of my life. I could think I've made the team next week. Now, give us a call, 1300 01 1170. I know there are plenty of you out there that you want to know. What does Smithy think about the Carrigan alleged hip drop tackle? Is it fair, the 4 weeks? Is it not fair? Also, you've got Big Nelson dropping elbows.
Wow.
Getting nothing for it. Very interesting. So give us a call. Does the MRC, does it need to be revamped, or do you think it's doing a good job? Also, follow us on @SEN League on Instagram. That's right, SEN League on Instagram, the new place to get all of your footy news with score updates, all that good stuff. And welcome to all our listeners, 1170 SEN in Sydney. We've got 1620 on the Goldie and 105.3 in Brizzy. And SENQ on DAB Plus in Queensland. And you can listen live on the SEN app. You can also download the SEN app to listen to us anytime and subscribe to us on Apple and Spotify. That means that, if you don't have time to listen all at once, you can pause, you can listen whenever you want during the week. But let's get into the biggest news of the week, mate. So,
Where do we start?
Where do we start? Look, let's start at Klemmer. Let's start at Klemmer.
Right.
So, just for the listeners that may be out of the loop. Now, Klemmer has been asked to appear to the board, a show cause notice, I think they call it. And basically what that means is he has done something wrong that, it could be in breach, I guess, of his employee agreement. And he has to go and meet the board and basically explain his side of the situation.
Right. So that means there's been a complaint made against him.
It seems like it.
An action or a behaviour or...
It seems like it.
Okay.
That's usually the process in which these things happen. You don't just get called to the board.
No, for nothing.
Usually someone has made a complaint and then you get called to the board. So what has been alleged and reported is that on the field last week in their loss against the Bulldogs, David Klemmer was asked to come off the field. He didn't come off. And then the trainer went back out there and then he was asked to come off the field. And basically Klemmer said, go away in no uncertain terms.
Yep, with some expletives.
And essentially he has been dropped from the side.
Stood
this
down,
week.
I think.
Yeah, sorry, drop's the wrong word. Stood down from the side this week.
Pending investigation.
Which is a bit strange because if it's pending, innocent before proven guilty, it's a bit bizarre that he's not playing. Anyway, so basically I want to get your thoughts, Smithy. What is going on here?
Well, it's strange, really. Like if words were spoken between, a player and a trainer, like that's happened 1,000 times before. 1,000.
Yes.
I've seen it firsthand. I think you have as well.
Absolutely.
It's not a new thing. Like it's just, I'm really confused as to why this is such a huge problem. Like the way I've seen it dealt with and sorted out in the past is that if there's an issue where a player's been asked to come from the field by the head coach or a trainer or whoever the request has come from, and the player doesn't particularly want to come off at that time, and there's a bit of an exchange, a heated exchange, it's dealt with in person after the match and move on.
Right.
Like what are we doing making complaints against our own people? Like what's going on there? It's just a really... I don't know. It's such an ordinary situation for Newcastle at the moment. Like the football is one thing. Like they're not going great. Okay, they're not going great at all. And like even their performances at home, like they've let their members and their fans down at home, who are extremely good supporters. Like I've played games there against Newcastle. I'm now working there. I'm commentating on games, and you can see how passionate they are about their football side. And now, so we're starting to come to the end of the 2022 season. They've had a bludger of a year. They're trying to get this season done as best they can with the remaining games. So now one of their starting props, one of their enforcers, he's been stood down.
Mm-hmm.
They've got several players now being pulled in to the club to be a part of this investigation and give their account of events. Like, just what's doing? It's just unnecessary. Like, seriously, like, how bad have the words been spoken between, David Klemmer and this trainer to have a formal complaint made? Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Deal with it man to man.
Deal with it internally.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that the way you deal with things? Like, what do we go running to people now to dob on each other?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, footy clubs, like, you got to be better than that. Like, seriously, like, after the matches, I mentioned this before, after the game was finished, whatever needs to happen afterwards with, media commitments and the players need to do their recovery and all that sort of stuff, go over to the bloke after the game and say, hey, mate, hey, Clem, can I have a word, please?
Yeah.
And sort it out.
Yeah.
And move on. Like, I've had a little bit to do with David Klemmer, okay? Like, I've played many, many times against him, and look, he is one of the most competitive and passionate blokes that I've played against in my career, okay? He loves footy. He loves playing for the teams that he represents. You can see that when you watch him play football. But I tell you what, once the game's over, he's a very, very respectful man. And he'll deal with those situations the way he needs to deal with them respectfully. I don't know why they've gone down this path. Really, I don't. I just don't know. And I'm not too sure whether we got Newcastle fans listening today, but I'd love to get your thoughts on what's happening there with your team. I don't know, Kempy. What's your view on it?
Mate, I am absolutely shocked. Absolutely shocked. What I'm even more shocked is, like, let's just say in a crazy world that, okay, something happened and you took it internal. The fact that it's public, why couldn't they just say, oh, Klemmer's strained his calf? And then, you know what I mean? And deal with it internally.
Yeah.
The extra,
such big news.
It's huge news. It's taken up the hot, like, all the headlines are about this with a club. Like, if you were to talk about their best player this year, it would absolutely be Klemmer. And so let's just say that there was, like, because then there was some rumbles about, Klemmer may be hard to coach and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of feel like, let's say that was true, even though I don't think it is true. Maybe he's onto something. Because look at the way he's playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe we should listen to the bloke that cares so much that he is so put it this way, his contract, portion of it is because he's a madman.
Yes, that's right.
That's literally why he's signed to the club.
Employed.
Because he's a madman. And so, okay, he said some swear words or whatever. Like, come on, it is absolutely ridiculous. And I feel for Newcastle as a club because I'm sure that the people that are now involved in this process are only involved because they kind of have to be. If you know what I'm saying, where they've been forced to be involved in this publicly, when in reality, I reckon most of the Newcastle club would have wanted this to be handled internally between, the trainer and the player and say, mate, let's have a chat. We'll have a sit down if you need to.
Absolutely.
And we can just talk about it privately. But this whole official nature of it, to put the club through this when it's already going through so much over a swear words.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about here?
Even if he's had a crack at you personally, like sort it out face to face.
Yeah.
I just think it's just way too far. Way too far.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And now now the coach and the rest of the team, they're trying to prepare for a game this week, and this is hijacked their preparation.
Yep. I mean, they're already dealing with their superstar, marquee, club building, club defining, get us out of the bottom of the table, Kalen Ponga. They're already dealing with the pressure of his head knocks.
Yes.
And now they're going to deal with this as well. I just can't, for the life of me, if I was in a situation where someone said anything personal to me, I would never want to completely implode the players that I'm with.
No.
Because of a personal little grievance over some words.
Yep.
It just makes no sense.
Well, it affects a lot more people than just you and the player involved.
Over some words.
Yeah. Now
Crazy.
It's an entire organisation. You've put pressure on.
And fan bases. Because they're all fans are sitting there going, we've already had that year from hell.
Yep.
And the only happiness I get after a tough week at work is to get to watch Newey go out and rip and tear. What was it, 20,000 people there?
Yeah.
One of the most loyal fan bases in rugby league.
Yep.
and now they have to deal with it as well.
That's right.
It's just unbelievable. Cannot believe it.
Yep.
Seriously.
Some of that could have been sorted out. You'd like to think could have been sorted out an hour after the match, like face to face. Is now it's in the media, and as you said, it's just put unnecessary pressure on a whole heap of people that shouldn't be involved.
Everyone. And like, I agree. Like, I've had small interactions with Klemmer. Everyone I've spoken to that knows Klemmer, he seems like, he's a madman on the field. That's what we want. A very reasonable guy off the field.
Exactly.
You could sit down and have a chat to him and just be like, mate, can you just this or this? It's just bizarre to me. It's really, really disappointing. I really feel for the organisation. I also feel for the fans. They've had to deal with so much. They've stayed so loyal over something so insignificant from a guy that is in the heat of battle. I think that just for some fans, like the mindset you have to be in as a big forward, or even just as a footy player, when you go in the field, like me personally, my mindset on the field was very different mindset to who I am as a person off the field.
Absolutely.
Like, I just, you've got to get yourself in this really aggressive, otherwise you're just going to get towed up.
Well, you won't be there.
Yeah,
you won't get picked.
Yeah, you literally won't.
It's just the nature of the game.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean like you're a madman when you leave the field.
Yeah.
There are some.
Yeah. Well, there are some.
There are some. There are a couple.
Perfect example. Petro Sivanasiva couldn't be the nicest.
He is a gentle giant.
Delightful bloke off the field.
Yeah.
On the field, he is a monster.
Yep.
So, yeah, mate, I just cannot believe it. And also, just for Klemmer personally, this bloke in the most trying time has ripped and teared all year long.
All season.
Smashed his body to pieces.
All season.
And yet this is the thanks he gets over some swear words of someone?
Yeah, I hope it's sorted out quickly.
I hope so, too.
I hope it's sorted out quickly and they can just move past it and get on with the remaining games. Like, we've got 5 more games for this season. I hope they can deal with it really quickly, Kempy. And then, as you said, so they can move on, play some footy. The fans can just enjoy what is the remainder of this year for the Newcastle Knights. They won't play finals. Yeah. And, they can just get it out of the way.
Well, while we're on the topic of the Knights, they haven't really recruited that much this year. For next year. They've got Adam Elliott. They've got Hetherington coming. But it seems like it's not real. Like, their forward pack, I know they've got to replace Mitch Barnett, but it actually seems like they're losing Anthony Milford. Do you think that it's going to get worse before it gets better for the Newey Knights? I know we don't want to heap on, negative for the Newey fans out there.
Well, look, I don't think the issue is with the personnel, as in the playing roster that they've got. I think they've got an okay playing roster. I just think they just haven't played well this year. I really do. I think it's that simple, Kempy. I just don't think they've played that well. And, I think, they've had a lot of reshuffling throughout their key positions this year, through the halves and the dummy half position. Hopefully Brayley can stay fit for the remainder of this year and then play a whole season. I don't think, when's the last time he played an entire season without getting injured? So touch wood, hopefully he can stay on the park. But they just got to build some sort of consistency and fluency through those positions, so they can start building some combinations. Like we've seen Jake Clifford, he's in and out of the football side. Same with Adam Clune, for various reasons. Ponga, he's missed a few games this year through concussion and injuries, and that's a really difficult one. There's no sidestepping, concussion. You can't muck around with that. But let's hope that he doesn't suffer any more next year. And if they can do that and keep everyone fit, like they dealt with a lot of injuries this year, they have, but and particularly to a lot of their more experienced players throughout
last year as well
throughout the year. So like this same playing group, well, very similar playing group, not only a couple of years ago, like they were sitting in the top 4.
Yes.
I remember taking them on. We in the 2020 season, we played them on the Central Coast. They were in the top 4.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it's not that long ago. So they just need to find their style of footy that works for them. And just build on that.
What's up, guys? Before we get back to the footy chat, make sure to grab a case of Bloke Midi. We're now in every single Liquor Legends. Go to liquorlegends.com.au, put in your postcode. It will show you your nearest stockist. And OG Bloke is in every single Celebrations, Bottle-O, IGA Plus Liquor, and Porter's Liquor in New South Wales and ACT. Plus, it's in every single Celebrations Superstore in Queensland. Also, we're in plenty more stores. You go to blokeinabar.com, you put in your postcode, it will show you your nearest nearest bloke stockers.
Welcome back to the Captain's Run with Cameron Smith. Give us a call, 1300 01 1170, or give us a text. We've got plenty of texts here. We've got one here. Just a congratulations to Cam for having the grandstand at Marsden High named in his honour. He took the time to take a photo with heaps of the kids, one being my son, who was beaming from the experience.
Oh,
I don't
that's
care
nice.
what they say about you, Smithy. You're a good bloke.
Oh, thanks, mate. Appreciate that. No, it was a good day. We were out there yesterday up at Marsden High. They had a big footy day on. I think it was the last round of like the school footy comp before finals, and they took on Marsden High, took on Ipswich High. So there was some open girls games on. There was the open boys played. Some of the lower grades played as well. Great experience.
Yeah.
And then the grandstand, Marsden High, I'm very thankful and grateful for this opportunity. But they built a grandstand on the side of the main field, and they've called it the Cameron Smith Grandstand.
How good.
It was built a little while ago, but because of COVID and all other issues with being in schools and whatnot, we had to wait until yesterday. It was great.
Is that your junior club? Is that why?
That was my school.
School. Oh,
Yeah, my
apologies.
high school.
Apologies.
Yeah,
Marsden
my
High.
high school. So very different now. It's the biggest high school in the country.
What?
Almost 4,000 students.
Holy, 4,000.
And so I did a bit of a tour up there. But mate, what about this? Former NRL players working at the school now in their football program with the girls and boys. Jamie Feeney.
Yeah.
A former Dogs Storm player. Isaac Luke, he's there. His son,
Bully.
his son actually attends the school, and so does his daughter. So his children go to Marsden High, and his son actually played in the under-15s Marsden team last night. Plays fullback.
Really?
Mate, quick.
Wow.
A little bit taller than his old man. A little bit faster. Although Isaac was a very
First 10, he had a great first 10.
very fast and a great footy player too. He's a good bloke too, Isaac. And also Zeb Taylor.
No
Zeb
way.
Taylor's up there. He's looking after athlete welfare.
Okay.
He's doing some work in that space just to make sure that the kids are, they're making sure that, all the academic stuff is taken care of first and everything. They're looking after themselves away from school just to make sure they're on top of all that sort of stuff that needs to happen. So, but it was a great day. The whole family was there. My brother and sister, wife and 3 kids, and mum and dad they're all there. Got some photos, and yeah, it was great. Very big thank you to Marsden High, Andrew Peach, the principal up there, doing some wonderful things at Marsden High with all the students. And it was a great day.
Now, on to huge news. Now, Nelson Asafa-Solomona, for people that may have not seen the incident. So essentially, they had a player wrapped up and they were taking him to the ground. And as they were taking him to the ground, Nelson... Wade Egan, yes. Yep. As they were taking Egan to the ground, Nelson, I guess, definitely tried to forcefully, put him on the ground. And an elbow has landed on Egan's face. Now, the reports were that he cracked a few teeth. He did have to be taken from the field.
Yep.
Then he came back on, I'm pretty sure, and he played number 6. He's been named in 6 for the Warriors this week. Now, I'm pretty sure that there was no penalty and there was no fine or charge. Right. I personally think it's crazy that he got off. I understand Big Nelson's an aggressive player. I love the way he plays. But sometimes that aggression can just spill over. And that's a part of rugby league. But if it's going to spill over, I believe you should be punished for it, especially when we've got guys like, well, I'll let you get into it. Smithy, what your thoughts are? Yeah,
look, I think that I was expecting a charge to come out of it and a suspension for that tackle. Only off the back of what we seen a couple of weeks earlier with Dale Finucane, saying that he had no duty of care for the ball carrier with the football. And he made a clear decision to go out and be aggressive and whatnot. But we've seen 2 examples of players making a conscious decision to be aggressive. Big Nelson being one of them, and Jared Warrior-Hargraves on Zach Fulton, where he had him pinned on the ground and had his forearm and elbow in his face. Yeah, well, to me you're making a decision there to inflict some pain on the opposition. So why is that a fine or a no charge compared to Dale Finucane, who what he's guilty of is getting off the line quickly.
Yep.
And then as a result, having an accidental head clash.
Yeah.
And then got charged for it. Was it because those other players didn't have an injury, whereas Stephen Crichton got knocked on the ground, he had a HIA and split his ear? Is that why Dale Finucane?
Yeah.
If it is, come out and say it.
Yeah.
Come out and say it, because the player was injured, and we don't want people to see that. We don't want that in our game, players getting injured. But if you don't show duty of care to someone and you're aggressive, but they don't get hurt, we're okay with that. Let's be transparent. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What do you think? I'm saying that off the back of the Dale Finucane suspension, I thought Jared and Nelson would have got a week.
I totally agree. And I agree with you as well.
It's like so confusing.
I understand the human emotion of, you see an injury and you're like, oh, it makes it a lot worse. But that's the reason why we have procedures in place, why we put laws in place to take the human emotion out of it so that we get fairness across the board.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the Nelson one, not only, so the Dale one, he shot out of the line and tried to make a good tackle. A statement. The amount of things that can go wrong because they're both moving at such a high pace is astronomical.
Yes.
Whereas the Nelson one and the Hargreaves one, what frustrates me as a fan is they had control of them.
They have more control over it.
And so it is more responsibility on their hands than, say, Dale. They have literally nearly all the responsibility because they've got complete control of the player's body.
Yep.
And wherever that player lands, it's because of their decisions. And so that's what I just do not understand.
It's crazy
how they have made direct contact to the head. They had full control of the situation, and they didn't get pretty much anything. Now, Hargreaves got a $3,000 fine, which is, okay, it stings a little bit, but I don't think that was enough if we're going to be hard on the crackdown.
No.
Now, and to be honest, I'm sure you were the same, Smithy. We came through an era where that was kind of normal, getting elbowed in the head in a tackle.
Well, you got to think Fulton was on debut. You got to expect some heat.
Yeah.
When you were playing your first game, and I think there was a couple of little exchanges earlier in the match. So I was at the game. I was at 4 Pines Park, watching that game, and there was a little bit of an exchange, or maybe a few moments earlier, maybe a couple of sets earlier.
Yeah.
There was a bit of push and shove and whatnot. So there's a little bit of stuff brewing. But that's Jared. He's a prop. He's an enforcer for that football side, and he's got a young bloke there underneath him. And he's just saying, "Hey, mate, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Or else this is what you're going to cop."
Yeah.
Now I'm okay with that. But what I'm saying is, if we're going to go only a week or 2 weeks prior and suspend a bloke for 2 weeks for coming out and trying to do the same thing, intimidate the opposition player, and an accidental incident happens, and we rub him out for 2 games, well, let's be consistent.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's be consistent. Like, if we're going to go down the path of Dale Finucane didn't show any duty of care to the opposition player, well, neither these other guys.
Yeah.
So why is it just and they say, oh, well, we fine Jared. Well, mate, it's not about fine. What hurts them is missing footy games.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what hurts the clubs too. So best way to stamp out that type of behaviour is take football games off them.
Yeah, very, very surprising. And I think the key for all fans is we just want consistency. That's it. Like we can usually cop nearly any rule change as long as it's being applied fairly.
Yeah.
And I think that at the moment they're just struggling a little bit to keep that consistency across the board.
Yep.
So hopefully they can sort it out. The Josh King thing as well, we'll just go over that quickly, but I cannot for the life of me understand how Corey Waddell can get 5 weeks.
There's such a
5 weeks.
And
then Josh King gets nothing.
Yeah. Because you can't deny, you can't say, well, his hands weren't in his face, because they were. Everyone's seen it.
Right there.
And I don't know. How do you determine that someone's trying to eye gouge and the other person's not?
Honestly,
I just don't know.
If you said to me Waddell is 5 weeks, then Josh King has got to be at least 2 to 3. To be clear, I don't think Josh King was as bad, or as, I guess, could be as bad as Waddell's, but it was not 5 weeks difference.
Yeah.
There is no way. Anyway, so hopefully we get some consistency going, but Who knows? Who knows?
Well, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, look, in MRC's defence, I think that they've just got so many different laws and rules and books in front of them that they've got to take into account. So I know they don't intentionally make these decisions, but and so no crack at the blokes that are doing it, but it is just a bit tough to watch sometimes. And mate, I couldn't do a better job, but I just don't agree with it. Anyway. Now, on to the Stadium Wars, Smithy. The Stadium Wars.
Oh.
Not Star Wars, Stadium Wars. Now, Peter V'landys has come out. Basically, what has happened is, just catch up people that may not be aware.
Yep. New South Wales Premier.
So the New South Wales government made an agreement with NRL that basically the NRL would keep the grand final in New South Wales as long as they upgraded the ANZ Stadium. This is the initial agreement. Then it came out, and basically, I think the government may have gone to them, and they were like negotiating. Well, we're not going to put that money into. It was actually more than 800 million. So they went to the NRL and they said, we're not going to put that money into the stadium. Let's handshake on something different. And so that initial agreement was in writing. And so the second agreement was just a handshake of V'landys going, okay, if you're not going to put that money into that stadium, we'll keep the grand final in Sydney. But you need to put $800 million into suburban grounds because we believe that's beacons for those communities to be able to go. Anyway, long story short, from the government's perspective, the budget is much different than what they expected. We've had some tragedies over the last couple of years that the government may need money for. And they've come out and said, we are not going to... Well, I don't know what they've actually said, but V'landys has come out and said that they've reneged on their agreement. And he also said, don't... Let's just put it this way, he's not a bluffer.
Yes.
And so there is a chance that the NRL Grand Final could be taken to Queensland. What are your thoughts on the situation?
He doesn't mind a fight, does he?
Oh, he loves it.
He doesn't mind one.
He loves it, V'landys.
Peter?
Oh,
Rugby league.
Rugby league.
He loves a stink. Nah, good on him. He's in there fighting for the game.
That's what you want, I guess.
That's great. That's good. As our chairman of the commission. Oh, I don't know. Like, doesn't bother me. I don't mind a grand final in Queensland. That one-eyed Queenslander here, like I don't mind. Like it's like last year, fantastic. Like the grand final up in Brisbane.
But more about the 800 million that we may not be getting now. And Penrith has already been cleared to get theirs.
Yeah, look, I was tongue in cheek there. I'm just talking about having a grand final in Queensland and how good it was last year.
I'm with you.
But yeah, look, I think it's important that we try and put some money back into those suburban grounds. Like I think you ask most players, like the big stadiums are fantastic, but when you get to play week to week, particularly for those guys playing at those clubs like a West Tigers,
for sure.
Sharkies, I know
Penrith.
Four Pines have just been upgraded, but Penrith, I don't think there's been much work done there for a long, long time.
So basically, Penrith will get their upgrade.
Okay, so that's confirmed.
But the concern is that the sports minister, that's his area.
Oh, okay.
So, look, I don't know nothing about politics. Don't listen to me, guys. I don't know about budgets.
So you're saying they know someone?
Apparently, me mate. He was like, look, I've got a few mates down here. But to make matters worse, I think he stepped down yesterday.
Oh, no.
So I don't know what's going on. But the key to it is that it looks like that we may not get that 800 million. Now, I understand people that, feel like that money should be given to hospitals and whatever. Look, I don't know what the budget is, and I don't know what's being allocated to where, but I can understand V'landys' frustration. An agreement is an agreement, and it would be frustrating for V'landys because they actually decided to take less and agreed to, put it this way, V'landys has held his end of the bargain, and it's frustrating.
And I think that's what it'd be. He'd be frustrated with what's happening and a little bit annoyed, but I think it'll work itself out, mate.
Yeah.
I really do. And it's something that I don't think the New South Wales government will want to lose.
Yeah.
The NRL Grand Final. Like it's a huge event. We all know that. And it's been in Sydney for a long, long time. And I think they'll do what they need to do to keep it there as well.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And I understand the government being in a real tough position. It has been a crazy 3 years.
There's a lot going on.
So, as I said, I don't know the ins and outs, but I can empathise why V'landys would be frustrated because it's an agreement. Now, let's talk about the what have we got here? The first game.
Yes,
we've got the Roosters versus the Broncos.
Where tonight?
Now, the Roosters versus the Broncos. it's going to be a cracking match. Historically, it has been a cracking match because if you remember a few years ago, we were really struggling, the Broncos, not a few years ago, I think it was like even last year, struggling massively. And I think we squeezed a victory out against the Roosters.
Yep.
And so it's almost like the Broncos get up for these kind of games.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see this game playing out?
Well, big out, obviously, for Broncos. Paddy Carrigan, he won't be there for the next month. As we all know, he's been huge for the Broncos this year. Huge.
Yeah.
Since he had a month layoff earlier in the year with a knee injury and has just come back gangbusters. So this is big shoes to fill for the Broncos, but Kobe Hetherington replaces him at 13.
And
I think for Kobe, sorry, mate, you go.
I was going to say, I just wanted to speak before we get to the Broncos, just some questions about the Roosters. Do you think there's too many chooks in the kitchen?
Did you think about that last night, did you?
Maybe.
I like it.
Reportedly.
I like it.
Do you think there's too many cooks in the kitchen?
Can we get some text and just see what you think about that joke?
Yeah, let us know. Actually, you know what? We're going to head to a break.
Yes.
And we're going to let people just marinate in that joke for a little bit. Marinate. It was one of the great ones, in my opinion, anyway. And we'll get back and we'll find out whether there are too many cooks in the kitchen at the Roosters. See you on the other side. Welcome back to the Captain's Run. I tell you what, Smithy, the feedback has been outstanding. We're talking Kempy, greatest joke of all time. No, I can't. Can you find that text that you said that?
No, I'll tell you what I have found. It says, Smithy, send the beak for a HIA immediately. It's no good.
I think the beak has a wing loose with his terrible puns, but a good talking point. If you want Manu with his hands on the ball as well as Kieran Walker, would it be out of the question to play him at 13? But then you've got the great Victor Radley there.
I'll tell you what, I think they just bring him in field like they did last week. He had the most runs, most meters, I think, even more than Teddy.
Yep.
But what about that for a combo, 1-2 combo, those two in the middle of the park?
Probably the two best ball runners in the comp right now.
Yeah, they had a little bit of a very similar plan with Joey Manu as to what the Blues had with Turbo.
Yeah,
last year.
Very true.
Well,
very
he
true.
hardly played in that centre position. He come in the middle of the field. He's taking hit-ups, and it's crazy. Anyway.
Now, time to break down which young players are climbing up the Bailey ladders. Bailey ladders have been worksite trusted for 60 years. That's right, 6 decades. Worksite trusted. I mean, that's one of the best. 60 years of the standards that you need to be at to be worksite trusted. The best ladders in all the game, Bailey ladders. If you're a tradie or if you're just a person that needs a ladder at home, go and grab Bailey ladders.
Everyone needs a ladder.
Absolutely.
At some stage.
Where's our ladder gone? There it is.
It's over here.
We got it there, ready to go, just in case we needed to get anything done. But who's climbing up the Bailey ladder this week, Smithy?
Number one, this is a really good moment, actually. Zach Fulton. First time ever, 3 generations.
Wow.
In the one club of footballers.
Far out. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Because, to think that, to make NRL is hard enough. To have 3 generations to play NRL?
Yeah, so that was a really... and speaking, I heard Zach Fulton talk after the match, and he just said, look, it was a really proud moment when he ran out of the field. I think he actually even looked at the sky just to, thank his grandfather. He knew he was going to be watching over him. So a really great moment there. Entire big crew of family and friends were there to watch him. But only 20. He ran for 50 metres. He only got limited time.
He's a goer, though.
He is a goer.
I like that. I like that about him.
50 metres, made 20 tackles. He got on the field, right? When he got on the field, as soon as he got on there, he made 3 consecutive tackles. I was just, like you said, goer.
Goer.
A little terrier.
If I did that, I would have been subbed off straight away. I made 3 consecutive tackles in 3 weeks. Jeez. Settle down, Fulton.
One tackle per game?
Yeah, you're making us look bad.
Well done.
Thanks, bro.
In only 25 minutes. So he made 20 tackles, ran for 50 metres, and only 25 minutes of game time against the Roosters. So well done to Zach Fulton. Edward Cozy, 23-year-old. He had 3 tries for 3 line breaks, 4 tackle busts, and ran for over 140 metres.
I'm really happy for Cossey because he had a bit of a tough gig a few weeks ago, and he's got so much potential. A lot of those outside backs, the Kiwis coming through, they're incredible. So real stoked for him to see turn around.
How do you feel? How would you feel? Like this is like as a winger. How would you feel like scoring a hat trick but then getting beaten?
Yeah, it's a tough gig.
Yeah,
because
you would think you win.
Yeah. And
Crazy.
also, you sit in the change room and you're got such mixed emotions because you had a good game.
Yes.
But you'd rather score no tries and win.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then thirdly, Jacob Kraz, we mentioned him earlier in the show, but still only 20. The Bulldogs centre, he had 3 tries, ran for over 250 metres with 3 line breaks and 7 tackle busts.
Massive.
Huge game. Huge game for Jacob Kraz. He's been going good, hasn't he?
Mate, he's one of my favourite new players this season.
Yep.
And sometimes
Big future.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes teams just need youthful energy. Like, for example, you can never you can purchase experience in trade or whatever, but experience is irreplaceable. But sometimes clubs just need the youthful injection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Kiraz has really brought that to the team.
Yeah, well, you need a mix.
Yeah.
I think it's like people, young man's game and all this sort of stuff. But I think you need some older heads there just to steady the ship a bit. But
that's why Fox has been so great.
So good.
Yeah, really, really good for him because I actually think trade-wise, in regards to players being purchased, I can't remember a winger having as much impact as Josh Addo-Carr has. Now, obviously, wingers have had impact that have come up through teams.
Yes.
But a marquee winger signing, he's right up there with impact-wise, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The great Fox.
Warriors with Danny Kemp.
Negative impact. Negative impact. Actually, it's deep impact, that movie. It's a metaphor for my impact on the Warriors. Lucky I was only there for 10 months. That was thanks to Bailey Ladders, bringing safety and efficiency to the worksite for over 60 years. After the break, we're going to go to the news, and then we're going to talk about my incredible joke, how many chooks are needed in a kitchen.
Yes.
Welcome back to the Captain's Run with Cameron Smith. Make sure to follow us, SEN League. So go to Instagram at SEN League. It's the newest sporting network on the block. It's got all the great news. We've got blokes like Smithy on there, Matty John's on there, Brandy, Vossi, Brian Fletcher. The names don't end. They're all there. So at SEN League. Also follow us on Spotify and Apple. The Captain's Run. You can listen to us anytime you want. But now let's get into the game of the round. Time now to look at the game of the round thanks to Suncorp. Get award-winning car insurance with Suncorp. So if you bought a new car or you're looking for some insurance for your car, head over to Suncorp and grab some great insurance. It's won the award numerous times. But the match of the round is the Sydney Roosters Brisbane Broncos. But we'll get to the question I had for you, Smithy. Do you think that they are struggling to fit in Walker, Keary, Tedesco, Manu?
So you think it's like a similar situation to Melbourne last year with Pappenhausen,
but
Hines,
maybe
Munster.
A little bit less because I don't think Storm had that much of a problem because they weren't all on the field at one time usually.
Okay.
Whereas,
Yeah.
Whereas Roosters, because Manu takes so many runs and Tedesco takes so many runs, could that ruin the flow of where you want to get to on the field?
What they got to do is they just got to find the right balance, really, and just make sure that guys like Sam Walker and Luke Keary, that they're the ones that are calling the shots. Now it's hard to tell, say, someone like a Tedesco because that's his role as a fullback. Like he's got to be on the ball.
Yeah.
So if he sees an opportunity and takes the football, then you just got to respond and back him up. Unless there's a set play that they're trying to set up and they need him out wider on the edges. But if he's in and around the football, which he is all the time, it's incredible. Like he and Dylan Edwards are the best at it. They are just so good at following the football and seeing any opportunity to get it and make meters or make a half break or a line break, whatever it is. They're there and ready to go. But I think the challenge for the Roosters is just trying to find that balance of, okay, we know we got 2 really strong ball carriers in Manu and Tedesco. Just finding the right time and the right balance to have them in the middle of the field, having carries, trying to create some opportunities for players around them, but then also reverting back to, hey guys, we need you out in your position now, and holding some sort of structure in attack and some formation in attack so that we can get some set plays on. I think that's the challenge.
Yeah,
and that's for those spine players, including. You throw Joseph Manu in that because he's involved, and also the coaching group to sit down and say, "Hey guys, how best can we, give Tedesco and Manu opportunities running the football, but then also having us in formation where we can actually, throw some set plays at the opposition."
Because that's the toughest thing. Let's say Manu and Tedesco are taking run after each other, and then they're probably going to get a quick play the ball because that's what they do.
Yeah.
And as a half, you're looking out to I think Manu's on the left, or let's just say he's on the left.
Yeah.
you're going, oh, my centre's not there. You know what I
he's
mean?
not there,
you literally
yeah.
can't
Yeah,
use
that's
the
right.
advantage that's been created.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, trying to have that balance. And maybe it might be in particular parts of the field, Joey just doesn't go in the middle.
Yeah.
He just holds formation out on his edge. And it's important. Like, it's a very different game to what it used to be. So like people comment about, the game back however long ago, like it was so good. Like, if you actually look at it, it was almost a free for all.
Yeah.
Like, it really was.
Barely any structure.
And this is not a criticism of the game back then, because it was good quality football. Tough people played the game, but it really was. It was a free for all, and the game was played so differently back then. Whereas now, because defensive structures and systems are so good, you actually need to be in formation and have some sort of structure. Other people call it shape, but like some sort of structure to be able to pull defenses apart.
Yeah.
And to be able to manipulate defenders and move them around,
Create space where you want it.
with the structure that you present. Because if it's just a free for all with the Roosters and just go, oh, boys, just come in whenever you like.
Easiest defend ever.
Well, it is. They'll have great stats. They'll end up with 200 plus meters and a ton of carries, but that may not get them a result, particularly if they are to progress into the finals and they're playing against these good defensive sides.
I noticed when, especially last year, I know that, last year you weren't playing, but I did notice like when the new rules came in, did you guys focus a lot around the ruck in the sense of like, when we sniff a bit of momentum, stay around the ruck?
There.
Is that something you focus on? Not really.
No, well, that was actually a system that we adapted. Like, say you ran 3 tackles or 4 tackles and then you got a set restart, it was just keep attacking that space.
Yeah, okay.
Because those guys have made pretty much, if they've made those first 3 tackles, well, they're going to have to make another 3 or 4 now.
Yeah.
And it was really just what you're trying to do is just make your way down the field so that you're in attacking position. Because if you go set restart, that's a free tackle that you're starting with. So maybe you might take 2 or 3 more. You make some good inroads. You might make 30, 35 metres off the next 3 plays. And then all of a sudden you can use the rest of the set to attack the edges. Because if you chew up the numbers in the middle and make those guys tight in the middle, it puts so much pressure on your outside defenders.
Yeah.
Because those middlemen who, when they're fresh, they're able to get good line speed. They're able to make the ball players play early, which allows the outside defenders, or the edge defenders, to adjust and number up out wide. But when they don't do that, and you see the halves and the ball players be able to go deep, carry the ball deep into a defensive line, commit defenders, and then play to their outside man. That's how overlaps are created. So I think that's definitely a ploy. Like, I think it's green lights for the Roosters in particular when they've got those 2 guys there. If they get set restarts, I think Joseph Manu should be coming in straight away for a carry.
Yeah, because like I just noticed with the Storm is like the pace at which it's almost like you all went into overdrive. As soon as you got to sniff through the middle, that there was a bit of loose, you just all piled
Flood
through.
through there.
Yeah, just piled through. Even like on the line, it would look like you would almost go, how did they so quickly set up that shape where, you've got a short runner and then you've got a long runner, and obviously the space is outside because of the spacing between the defenders. And so I wonder with the Roosters is that, like, could they use that to their advantage of just get people pouring through the middle?
Yep. Well, he does that so well at the moment already.
So good.
But all they need to do is just recognise that opportunity of momentum through the middle and then go bang, 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 and then hit them on the edge.
Yep.
That's as simple as rugby league gets, is to try and build momentum, get defences on the back foot, and then attack.
Yeah.
Which I think they can do. And this is going to be a great game.
Cracking game.
Great game. And I know we spoke about Pat Carrigan not being there, but they'll be stinging off the back of that performance last week. It'd be interesting to know what you thought of that. But
yeah, mate,
Selwyn Cobbo back, huge.
Deloise
Hoyter, he goes to the reserves. Jakey Turpin, he's been recalled to the bench, and so Corey Pakes is out. But this will be a great match.
There you go.
Being in Sydney, though, might have to tip the Roosters.
Oh, Smithy, what's doing?
And Paddy being out too as well.
I'm going the Bronx. Bronx to bounce back last week. Very disappointing.
Yep.
Very, very disappointing. And I think that, it was probably the first time, one of the only times this year where I was disappointed with the result, disappointed with the performance.
Yeah.
Result is irrelevant. It's just the way that we perform. Now, On to the Storm versus Titans. Now, my concern at the moment, Smithy, is it's not only the fact that, the Storm are missing so many players, but first of all, I think next year they haven't probably recruited enough to fill the voids that have been left. But also, I just feel like watch on the weekend that they just seem tired. They seem tired. I don't know if they were or whatever. They just didn't have the same energy normally a Storm team does.
Yeah. Well, it's difficult. And Penrith are probably feeling a little bit of that this year as well. When you're at the top for so long, it's hard. Yeah. It's actually harder staying at the top than what it is getting there.
Yep.
Because you become a target for every team, and not just every team. You become a target for everybody in the game.
Yeah.
Because they have high expectations, they've got standards that they believe you need to be at every week, and as soon as you're not there, they're trying to pick you to pieces.
Yeah.
And again, there's a bit of tall poppy stuff going on too, where people are just trying to drag you down, whichever way they can. But I agree, and you look at the roster as well, mate. Particularly through the forward pack of the Storm, they're not getting younger. These guys are coming sort of towards the end of their careers, and they've played a lot of football. Not saying they're not playing well, but if you're talking about maybe being a little fatigued, they spent 2 years out of home. They played a lot of football. They've gone all the way to the end, nearly in both of those years, and their teams are up from them every week. So it's really hard to stay at the very top all the time. It's almost like being in your car and having it redline the whole time. At some stage, the engine is going to stop, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We were talking metaphors before about chook in the kitchen, but you know what I mean. That's what it's like. When you've got it redlining for a long time, it's not going to just continue doing that forever. At some stage, something has got to give.
Yeah.
Now, they're doing their best. They've been smashed by injuries. I've never seen an injury toll like it at the Storm. I know we've dealt with some over the years, but particularly in their outside backs, it's been decimated, their outside backs, which is why they've done the loan deal for Nofaluma to go down there, which I think is great. But it's been a difficult season for the Storm for many, many reasons. But this week, Brandon Smith comes back. He's got a lot to make up for. So much so he spoke during the week. He was ousted
from the training
from the group.
Mate, he would have been bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, that would have been Craig Bellamy for sure. He made that decision. He would have been a little bit disappointed with that. But so another one's gone down. Nick Meaney.
Yeah.
He had a knock to the head from the weekend. So Tyron Wishart, he comes in, replaces him. Nofaluma, I think, really excited to see what he's going to do, making his club debut on the wing. Xavier Coates, he could play.
Makes a big difference.
Had a stint on sideline with the syndesmosis injury, but look, I think they'll be too strong for Gold Coast Titans. Jaden Campbell, huge positive for the Titans. He goes back to fullback. He's such a good young player, so good. AJ Brimson to 5'8". Tanner Boyd, who I know they haven't had good results, but he's been shining light for the Titans over the last few weeks. He goes to halfback. Toby Sexton out. I think Storm get this done at Melbourne.
Yeah, I do too. Just quickly, thoughts on the Titans right now? Is it just hold your nerve with this young group? Or?
Yeah, I think it is, and I think at the moment it is. Hey boys, let's try and finish this year as best we can, and I think they have to have some very, very tough conversations at the end of this season with reviewing their year.
Yeah,
where it went wrong for them and how they need to put this season behind them and get on to 2023, the preparation for 2023, how they're going to bounce back and put themselves back into finals contention like they were in 2021.
Yep, mate, totally agree. We're going to head to a break. After the break, we're going to get through your texts, so make sure to text in 0457 736 736, and we'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to the Captain's Run with Cameron Smith. Smithy, we've got 1,000 texts here. 1,000 texts.
We got plenty. I'll start with this one. Hey, g'day, Beacon Goat. Hey, Smithy, get a forward. It'll redline all day without breaking. Oh, mate, you are kidding yourself. Who was that? Who was that from? You've got the hiccups. He's
now.
gone.
I'm gone.
I was great show. Thanks, Cameron. Balcombe Hills. No, mate, I'm a Holden man. I'm sorry.
You're a Holden man?
I'm a Holden man.
Okay.
Love me Holdens.
Now, Beak Smithy. Fellas, I'm just wondering if either of you have any cheeky Kangaroos Smokey for the World Cup.
Oh, who you got?
They got a big squad. He's personally thinking Hudson Young, Ruben Cotter. I am well. This one's completely out of the field, but Aaron Shop could get a call. Unheralded experiences being a part of the 30-man squad. I am going to go Smokey for me is Joseph Suali'i.
Really?
I think he'll make it.
Yeah.
I think he'll make it.
Well, because Tupou's not playing.
Tupou, To'o, both not playing.
No.
So you've got Dane Gagai, Valentine Holmes that will probably fight for that spot.
Fox will be there.
Fox will be there for sure. Tom Trbojevic, he may be there. If he's not there, you'd probably put Val in the centres.
Mm.
And so basically fighting with Dane Gagai for that wing spot, I'd say, unless there's someone I'm forgetting. Apologies.
Straight in.
He
could possibly be a player that plays for Australia before they play State of Origin.
Wow.
There's been a few of them.
Yeah.
There's been a few. I'd say I agree. I'd put Ruben Cotter in.
Cotter.
Chuck him in there, mate.
Squad or 17?
Put him in the squad.
Yeah, I agree.
Give him a couple of
games.
He's
a goer. I think Paddy Carrigan will be there. He's got to be there, surely.
Yep.
Outside of that, Payne Haas will probably play. You've got Junior Paulo, he'll play.
Mm-hmm.
So I reckon the Smokies for me personally.
There'll be a few.
Paddy Carrigan and Suali'i. They're my Smokies.
I'm chucking Rubes in.
Now, what else we got here? Hey, lads, for the Smithy, what do you put it down for playing so long, especially in the middle? Was it nutrition?
Well, certainly not at the beginning of my career.
Mm.
It was awful. I really didn't prioritise nutrition early.
Yes.
Like I ate a lot of junk food, and I'm not. Please don't think that that's
a good thing.
I'm advocating doing that for particularly young kids, but I just got away with it as a younger player.
Mm. And we weren't educated as much back
Not
then.
as much.
Yeah.
No, on health and nutrition.
Mm.
I don't know. You know what? We trained hard. That's no secret with Melbourne, and all clubs do. But we got put through some pretty grueling pre-seasons down there. I think that has a lot to do with it. Most part of it, me playing so long, but luck as well. There's no doubt about that. Like I put my hand up and say, look, I was very lucky to get through the games I got through without facing too many major injuries.
Now we're going to head to a break. After the break, we've got a whole round to preview. Plus, we're going to talk about things like what's going on in the Dragons. Can they get the job done? Can Manly fight their way into the 8? We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to the Captain's Run with Cameron Smith. Give us a call, 1300 01 1170, or text us 0457 736 736, or give at SEN League a follow on Instagram. It's the new place to get all your footy news, at SEN League on Instagram. Now, text here. I would like to know Smithy's thoughts on Josh Hodgson playing the 9 for the Eels next year and whether it will be a good move.
Oh, fantastic. I think he's a wonderful footballer. He's just been run down by 2 ACLs in the last, 3 or 4 seasons? I think it is. So, really unfortunate period of time for Josh. But before that, he was in the top handful of dummy halves in the competition, and was a big part of the Raiders going all the way to the grand final.
Yep.
2019, I think it was. So, look, I think that's a great pickup for Parramatta, but they are losing a few quality players.
Yeah, they are. It's going to be interesting seeing the dynamic between a dominant player like Hodgson and a dominant player like Moses.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But I think he'll do good things up there.
What's up, guys? Before we get back to the footy chat, make sure to grab a case of Bloke Midi. We're now in every single Liquor Legends. Go to liquorlegends.com.au, put in your postcode. It will show you your nearest stockist. And OG Bloke is in every single Celebrations, Bottle-O, IGA Plus Liquor, and Porter's Liquor in New South Wales and ACT. Plus, it's in every single Celebrations superstore in Queensland. Also, we're in plenty more stores. You go to blokeinabar.com, you put in your postcode, it will show you your nearest Bloke stockist.
Welcome back to the Captain's Run with Cameron Smith. Now, we've got some huge games here. Manly Seagulls versus the Para Eels. We honestly don't know how this is going to play out because the Para Eels could come out and be incredible, whereas Manly, they were competitive without 7 of their starting players. Now, all of those players come back in the starting side. Josh Aloiai is still out with a knee injury, but Ben Trbojevic returns from concussion. Schuster is the 18th man. Very interesting. The guy that they've decided is going to be their 6th next year is struggling to make the 17 now when, on their crazy run last year, he was a big part of it. Is there a concern there with that relationship?
Well, I just don't understand that, how you have a guy saying, mate, you are our 6 next year, but we can't find a spot in the 17. I don't know. But I'm with you as well. Like, the uncertainty around this game is off previous performances. Like Parramatta, you just don't know what team's going to turn up.
Yep.
Manly seemed to be able to put together quality 40 minutes of football and then not play out the 80. Like they did that against Cowboys, they did it against Storm. You just don't know. Off the back of last week, though, I thought their effort and their attitude when they were down on troops severely, as far as their regulars that play in that footy side, I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah,
and really took it to the Roosters, particularly their middles. I thought their forward pack, Manly's forward pack, really had a crack last week.
Yep.
And
I think it was their best game all year.
I'd love to see them to have that approach every week. And of course, they knew going into that game that they had to stand up because they were down on troops and whatnot. But if they take that same attitude and start the way they did, like they did against the Roosters, they'll have a pretty successful back end of this season. It was only the Roosters were smart. They attacked their inexperienced wingers. They had 2 wingers on debut, and that's where they scored most of their points in and around those wingers. But I think with Mitch Moses out and watching the way Parramatta struggled to finish off a 12-man outfit in Penrith last week, with players back like Saab and Tuipulotu, Tolotau Cola's back in, Olakau'atu and Sipley, I think they can win this match. I think they can win. I think they can beat Parramatta.
I agree. And what was really interesting about last week for Manly is that the Manly forward pack isn't known to be super aggressive. It's a great forward pack,
yes,
but it's more about getting through its work, trying to,
of course,
getting through your work and just being solid in defence. Whereas that new attitude that they rocked up with last week, if they can keep that, they go from, maybe making the 8, in my opinion, to definitely making the 8. If they can keep that same super hyper-aggressive, shooting off the line, hitting blokes, I really like that style of footy from Manly, especially if they get all these guns back. And then on top of all that, if that could change the culture of that forward pack to be like that all the time, imagine Tommy Trbojevic behind a forward pack like that.
Oh, unbelievable.
It'd be incredible.
Unbelievable.
To Para quickly. Look, I understand that they came out and they played really well in the first half, especially the first 20. But it's just super concerning that against 12 men, they were unable to really fire a shot. It was 6-4.
Well, they lost.
They lost it.
They lost the second half.
I understand fans, it can get frustrating when you're like, but we won. We won by a substantial margin. It's hard to get too excited from that because they were without a man for most of the match.
Yeah, you got to put the whole game into context. You got to look at the whole picture. So yes, you're playing against Penrith, and they are the best team in the competition currently, and they were always going to play to the end. They weren't going to throw the towel in. That's just not what they are and what they're about. But you were playing against 12 men, and they were without their most important player, Nathan Cleary. And to only score 4 points, that's a concerning thing. Now we're not having a crack at Parry here, but we're just talking about what we witnessed.
Yeah, and it's because we have high standards for Para. Like if they were a lower tier team, we'd be like, great win.
Yeah, of course.
But
if they're struggling on the bottom,
you're going great win, got the job done.
Yeah.
But top tier, you want them to put that away.
And really important match. So this is Manly are a team that are trying to break into the top 8, and Parramatta are a side that are trying to hold on to that position. So if they lose a few in these last 5 rounds, this is a team that could actually, if they drop this to Manly are one of the teams that could actually leapfrog them into the top 8 and push Parramatta out. So if they come out and win against Manly, you can almost say they've got 1 foot in the door of the finals. Because it just makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. But the tough thing is that, in regards to ladder positions, Manly's one of the lower teams they're playing in this run-in. Para Eels run home,
Yes.
outside of maybe one team, is tough as anything.
Well, it's tough, yeah. Well, they take on, obviously, Manly this week, but then they got the Rabbits, Dogs. Dogs are in great
Dogs
form.
beat them earlier this year, the Dogs.
Great
did.
form.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
They did, yeah. And then Broncos Storm to finish.
So basically, outside of Dogs, this is the ladder. I'm not saying the easiest in terms of personnel, but ladder. This is the easiest game they're having on the run-in.
That's right.
So it's a tough, really, really hard for the Eels right now. They've got to get the wins where they can to keep themselves in the 8.
Yeah, you could almost say this is almost the most important one in the last 5 rounds.
Yep.
Is to just try and if they can beat Manly, they put a little buffer between them. Because they're one side. Manly and Canberra, I feel, are the 2 teams outside the 8 now. They could force their way into the top 8 with results.
Agreed. So I think this is going to be a cracking match because there's so much on the line. Brad Arthur would be aware of this. Manly would be aware also that if they don't get the win here, it's going to be very hard to make the 8. Now, on to South Sydney Rabbitohs versus the New Zealand Warriors, 3 p.m. Saturday at Sunshine Coast Stadium. Tane Milne returns from a finger injury at centre in place of Jed Cartwright. Tom Burgess out with suspension and is replaced by Mark Nichols. New Zealand Warriors team, Harris Tavita is out with injury. Wade Egan starts in the 6 jersey. Freddie Lussick starts at hooker. Aitken moves to the centre with Aaron Pompey out.
Yep.
And Aaron Panay, Bailey Sirenen, Jack Murchie all return to the bench while Josh Curran moves to the bench and Jazz Tavanga is out with injury. How do you see this game going, Smithy?
Look, Rabbits were pretty good last week. I know they got dusted in Golden Point against the Sharkies, but, as we mentioned earlier, Sharkies are travelling nicely. So to take them all the way to Golden Point, I think that was a good effort. Still on the up with Latrell being back, and I think they still got improvement. I think this will be a victory to the Rabbitohs, I feel. It's on the Sunshine Coast, this game.
Beautiful
Playing
place,
at Sunshine Coast Stadium. Should be nice and sunny. Playing Saturday Arvo, so
beautiful time to play.
Nice little breeze coming off the beach there.
Tell you what, the beers will taste a lot sweeter if you get the win. Up at Sunny Coast, you get the win. They'll taste a lot nicer, boys.
They will.
Just with Warriors quickly. Now, I personally am a bit concerned with them next year, but I've had some fans push back against that and say, hang on a sec, we're getting Charles Nickel-Kluxter.
Yep.
We're getting Tomato Martin.
Yep.
But my worry is that, have they recruited well enough to replace guys like Reece Walsh, Lodge, Ewan Aiken, who are, and also Harris Tavita? Do you think that they've recruited well enough to cover that, or do you think they may struggle next year?
No, I think they'll be much better than what they have been.
Okay.
Just by the pure fact of being at home.
Okay.
Because they're going home.
Yep.
So I like the fact that they'll be playing. They'll be living in their houses in New Zealand. They'll be around family and friends. The familiarity of being back in Auckland, being based in Auckland, playing in front of their home fans makes a huge difference. I think they'll be better just for that alone.
Well, it is interesting because the games they've played at home have been quite competitive.
Yeah.
Just this year alone.
Yeah, of course.
So it's a good point. But roster-wise, take out the home thing. Do you think roster-wise
it's hard to replace a guy like Reece Walsh at fullback, because he is one of the young superstars in our game, and he's such a good young player. But Tamari Martin, he returning from what
incredible,
his health issues that he had. I thought he was fantastic for the Broncos when he come back and put on the 1 jersey. He was so good. He's been a huge part of their rebound from where they were last couple of seasons up to this year. Pushing for a top 4 position. Been injured of late, but I think I think he's been fantastic. So he'll not only take the class that he has, but also the experience of the amount of games that he's played. And he's played in some big games too. You got to remember Tamari Martin. Yeah. He's played in grand finals and played some high quality football games.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. It's just that silkiness that he has. He just has. And when he came into the Broncos, you could see how much we missed a nice, silky ball player. Now, Tessie New is definitely getting closer to better ball playing for sure.
Yep.
But Tomato Martin really, just the class at the back there. You need it now. You can't not have it.
Yeah, I think he played what was it, 1 or 2? It was might have been his second game back maybe, and he picked up man of the match.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So he's a quality footballer. So I think they'll benefit from him being in that 1 jersey.
Now, on to Raiders v. the Penny Panthers.
Oh, big one.
This is a huge, huge game. Jordan Rapana returns from suspension on the wing, so Albert Hopewadi moves to 18th man. Penrith Panthers, Cleary is out with suspension, so Sean O'Sullivan moves to halfback. Salmon starts at 5'8", Jermaine Salmon. Yep. Stephen Crichton returns to centre, and Mitch Kenny returns on the bench. This is going to be a cracking match because it's all on the line for the Raiders.
Yeah, it is. And I think Ricky will have them up for this one. He will be just having their eyes spinning in their heads, I reckon, for this one. Just talking about their current situation, what's at stake for them. They really need to push now to be able to try and make it into the top 8 and be a part of the final series. And also, they're playing Penrith. Like, he'll be just talking. The message will be, hey, fellas, like this is the benchmark. Like, where are we at right now? No better time. And he'll be licking his chops with the opportunity to play this team without Cleary and Luai as well. And he'll be telling his players, like, hey, boys, no better time to get these blokes than right now. No Luai, no Cleary. We're playing at home. We're playing for an opportunity to get ourselves in the finals. I think he'll have them right up for this one. Right up for it.
Yeah, you're totally right. Like, these kind of games, Ricky loves them.
I love it.
Against the big dogs, got a couple of players out, but their forward pack is still all there. So, it's going to be an absolute,
And that, like, for the Raiders, some people don't like looking too far ahead. I remember, like, Bellyache, Craig Bellamy, he was like, no, just day at a time. Game at a time. He doesn't even know who the Storm playing week after. So he'll just have them set for this week, right?
Yeah.
He'll have them set for the Titans, and he doesn't know who they're playing next week.
That's incredible.
But if I'm playing for Canberra, right, I'm looking at this match going, hey, great opportunity. Love to knock off the reigning premiers at home, even though they're down on a couple of their superstars. A win's a win. Okay, they still got a great football side. We've seen that last week. After that, though, this is what's coming afterwards. They take on St. George at home. So they got the next fortnight at home.
Yep.
Then they play Newcastle.
Wow.
Then Manly at home. And then West Tigers. So I'd be saying, hey, boys.
This is it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
5 games. Let's get ourselves in this finals, and let's get in there and just let's cause some havoc.
Yeah, and they really could cause some havoc. Seriously,
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
they got nothing to lose. They're not in the 8 currently. They are sitting 9th. They just, hey boys, let's cause some havoc.
Mate, Ricky.
But I'm tipping Penrith.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I might go Raiders. I don't know.
Raiders at home.
Oh yeah, Raiders at home.
Yep.
Just pip them. It's going to be a great game.
Mate, I'll tell you what. It wouldn't shock me. But put it that way. I won't be surprised after when this match wraps up at about 7:30 on Saturday to see the Raiders get a victory. But I'm going to tip Penrith. I find it hard to knock proven champion sides.
Absolutely. Now I've got some text here. I mean, they're going hard, Smithy. The Eels fans, they don't like it.
Oh, no.
Did you watch the game, boys? Question mark. Cleary goes off at the 18th minute mark. It was technically the 17th minute mark. Score was 12-4, the Eels. So another 22 points scored with 12 men. Yeah, I mean, look, I get what you're saying, but then there's 40 minutes where they got beaten.
Yeah.
So it's about, like, I can't understand is how, as a fan, you can't see that that's a problem, like that's a concern.
Yeah.
But hey, each their own. And also, I think also, if let's say the Eels had a really consistent year and this happened, you'd be like, yeah, it's no big deal, whatever. The problem is they're super inconsistent, and this is their actual problem. They get up against the best teams in the comp.
That's right.
And then the teams at the bottom, they've been beaten by the Tigers, the Bulldogs.
They've struggled.
Yeah, look, hey, each your own. I'm glad you're happy with the boys. Hopefully they can bounce back this week.
Yes.
Lads, hearing that young Isaac Thompson will debut this weekend in the centres for the Rabbitohs. I haven't heard that at all. Yeah, he is? Oh, okay. The rumours are he's
rumours.
So Isaac Thompson, is he a young gun? Is he Well, Isaac Thompson, massive congratulations.
So who would he be coming in for though?
Well, Tane Milner was supposed to come in for Cartwright. I'm pretty
I thought
sure
he was named, eh?
Yeah. So who knows? Who knows?
Keep an eye on it. Watching another young gun playing. He might make it onto the Bailey's ladders.
Yeah, next
young
week.
Gun climbing the ladder.
Absolutely. To the goat and the beak, should we consider 2 refs again to help with managing the ruck and penalising hip drops, etc.? The game has sped up, and the ref has plenty to watch already. Go Broncos, Tony. I think Landis has come out, quite sternly and said we will not be going back to 2 refs.
Yeah.
So,
Can we just simplify the rules then? Let's just do that. I reckon we can do that.
Yeah.
I reckon that'll be the easiest way to take away some of the issues with.
Well, I tell you what, a bit of a tough gig as a ref when you not only lose a ref that's helping you, but then you have 3 or 4 rule changes.
Oh yeah,
like you're literally piling on,
and then you've got someone in your ear constantly too.
Okay, now we're going to head to a break. After the break, we're going to get to more previews. And I can't wait to get to the Dragons preview because the Dragons are in a very interesting spot. Very interesting spot. Make sure to call in 1300 01 1170, text 0457 736 736, and we'll see you on the other side.
Holy Schnitz. Time now for the sporting highlight of the week. Thanks to Schnitz, home of fresh, golden, handcrafted schnitzels.
Welcome back to the Captain's Run with Cameron Smith. And as you just heard, it's time now for Holy Schnitz, the greatest schnitzels in all the land. Get down to your local Schnitz. They're beautiful. I'm telling you right now. They got these little wraps. So if you don't want a big burger, a little tiny wrap.
If you just need a little nibble.
They're my favourite. I love them. Matter of fact, they're all my favourite. Their chips are absolutely beautiful. But this weekend, Smithy,
yes,
I'm sitting back.
Okay.
And I'm going, yeah, go Broncos.
Yes,
how good's life? Yep. We're playing so well.
Yep.
And then it hit the 80th minute mark, and we didn't win. And I yelled, holy Schnitz, how do we get beaten by the Tigers when we're going so well?
And you were sitting fourth.
Now we're out of the 4.
And Tigers were?
Last. Unbelievable. Not anymore. Thanks to the great
Broncos.
Holy Schnitz moment by Broncos. So, Smithy,
I tell you what, I felt similar. Not as
hurt.
dramatic.
Yeah, okay.
I'll tell you where it was a very dramatic moment for me, and I actually nearly said "Holy Schnitz," along with my colleague Andrew Johns. Was we were commentating the Parramatta Penrith game, and when Nathan Cleary tipped Dylan Brown on his head,
I think the nation yelled "Holy Schnitz."
Yeah. So and just thinking not just for that tackle because it wasn't great. It didn't look good. Result wasn't great. But straight away thinking, wow, like
the ramifications
for the footy side. And just also off the back of Carl Lawton, he got 5.
Yeah.
Thinking, wow, this is. He got 5.
Yeah. 5.
I think it was 4 or 5.
I think maybe he got 4 because of his
yes,
good
it was
behaviour.
4.
Yeah.
4. It was 4. You're right. And then straight away we're thinking, mate, that's minimum 4.
Yeah.
Very similar tackles. Very similar result where ended up sort of in an awkward position. So, yeah, that was my holy Schnitz moment of the week.
What a moment.
And as you said, I think a lot of people around the country shared that same moment.
And players these days, surely they've got to think, oh, man, I'm going to get hounded in the media, on social media. I'm going to get smashed. It's a whole nother ball game. And again, look, he absolutely should have been suspended for the period he did.
Yep.
But, when things like that happen, I'm sure players sit there and go,
yeah. Well, you could see straight away, as soon as he went down to that, you could see him, he put his head in his hands.
Yeah.
And he knew.
All of everything was coming.
Strife.
Yeah. So he'll be back better than ever. I tell you what, a motivated Nathan Cleary after the Origin loss and then obviously this.
Yep.
It's going to be a scary sight. Come finals footy, we're going to head to a break. And then after the break, we've still got some great games of footy to preview. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to the Captain's Run with Cameron Smith. Make sure to give us a follow at SEN League. I know you're sitting there, you're listening, you're at work, you're driving, or you're in the gym. Just take 2 seconds. You head over to Instagram, give at SEN League a follow, and that's where you can get all your footy news and stay up to date with the Captain's Run, Morning Glory. There's plenty of the best footy personalities are on SEN, so make sure to head over there, give it a follow, and it helps the show. Now, we've got a huge game, Sharkies versus the Dragons. Now, some would say, look, it's going to be tough for the Dragons to make the 8, but I'm pretty sure it's still technically possible. We've got some big ins as well and some big outs. We've got Will Kennedy, who for me, he just continues to fly under the radar as a high quality fullback, but he's out with an ankle injury.
How long is he out for, though, Kevin?
I
They're
think
saying he was out for quite a lengthy time.
I thought it was around 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's big.
So
Big.
very, very tough loss. But Cade Dykes has been named to make his NRL debut, and there's big raps on this kid. Big raps. I mean, he's got to be pretty good because Lockie Miller made his debut and killed it.
Titans.
And killed it.
It was outstanding.
So for this guy to be able to make his debut as a youngster coming through, they must have big raps on him. Now, I've heard that Cade Dykes has been playing fullback at New South Wales Cup level.
Yep.
And Lockie Miller has played 6, so maybe that's why Lockie Miller wasn't called in.
Is he relation to Adam Dykes?
I think so.
Son?
I think so.
Yeah, that's his son.
That's his son.
There you go.
Well, massive congratulations to Dykes, but look out for him. He's got a lot of raps on him. Royce Hunt is out with a shoulder injury. Braden Hamlin-Uele starts, and Braden Trindle joins the bench. St. George Dragons, coach Anthony Griffin has named the same 17 that lost to the Cowboys, and we actually have a text here from Oliver. I am unhappy Dragon supporter. What do you think they should do moving forward? I think we desperately need a rebuild, get rid of some of the older players and start fresh with some upcoming players and a new coach. It may take a few years, but may be worth the wait. Hook wanted a quick fix, but it's not working. Dragon, Oliver.
Well, we've spoken a fair bit about the Dragon situation. And we've spoken about coaches and giving them an opportunity to start building something of their own. Like, how long's Hook been in for now? Year and a half?
Mate, year and a half.
So it's not long. You know what I mean? I think he's not a magician. It's hard to sort of get something going after a season and a half of football.
It's hard to set standards. That takes long.
Yeah, particularly when you take on a side that really you haven't put together, like your own squad. And I know we need results now. Everyone wants results now. We want games winning. We want to be finals bound. We want to be premiers. We all want it now. But unfortunately, it just doesn't happen that way. It just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
You need time with players. You need time not just with the individuals, but with the groups to put together what you believe is the right path and the right sort of structure around your footy team that you can go and do something really good with that certain squad. Now, it's really hard with like salary caps and all that sort of stuff to try and maintain a squad for, let's say, over 3 or 4 years because there's always players moving and retiring and all this type of stuff. But a year and a half, I think they need to give Hook a bit more of an opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't think. I couldn't think they could come to the end of this season and say, mate, see you later.
And look, has the year been a resounding success? No. But has it been a failure? I don't think so. I think the Dragons are kind of where their squad is at. Like, when it comes to the table and their talent in their squad, I think they're there or thereabouts. And you have to remember, like, little things haven't gone their way. So, for example, a key position in fullback in Sloan.
Yep.
He didn't kick on the way they thought he would. Amon has taken a little bit longer to ease into things. So I think personally, I understand your frustration, but I think Hook deserves another year or two to get the systems on board, and also set the stand. Like I know we talk about the word culture. It's so annoying to fans, and we say it, and what does it even mean? But to set standards, it's longer than a preseason.
Yeah.
We're talking years in the reason why, I mean, not to speak for you, Smithy, but the reason why the Storm is so good is because the standards that have been set for so many years.
Yep.
So that when someone walks in there, it's almost plug and play. But when you guys first started,
wasn't that easy?
I think you missed the 8th?
No. Well, so Craig's first year, we finished 5th.
Yep.
And then I think 03 was at 04, I think we might have been 6th.
Yep.
And then 05, I think we might have been like 5th again.
So 3 years. I mean, still good, really good finishing that.
Well, essentially, it took us like our 4th year. Craig's 4th year was really when we cemented ourselves in the top 4.
Yeah, and became a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And ever since then, dominated.
Yeah.
And so
it was the 4th year of his term at the club.
Yeah. The greatest player developer we've ever seen, and it still took, again, he was still coming 5th, which is incredible. But, I get people, I assume, are listening, are getting my drift. Because if you're not, that's bad. I shouldn't be a radio host.
And you go, hey, mate, this is a derby too.
Yeah.
these two sides do not like each other.
Mm.
So it should be a great contest. If St. George can't get up for this one, then you should be a little bit upset with your footy side, but they'll be up for this one to take on the Sharkies. Why not? Why not take a scalp? Why not take a scalp?
Why not, honestly?
And mathematically,
they can still make it.
They can still make it.
Yep.
So let's not think, if you're a Saints supporter or you're looking at St. George Illawarra thinking, they're gone, put a line through them. Mathematically, they can still make it. They're on the same points as Manly.
Yep. So basically, if Eels really, really struggle, they can. I mean, not even Eels. I mean, Rabbitohs or Roosters can both really struggle. So it's absolutely a possibility. Now, quickly, Smithy.
Yes.
In your mind's eye, are the Sharkies? Can you imagine the Sharkies lifting the trophy at the end of the year?
I can.
They're looking pretty good, I reckon.
I can see them doing it. I'm not having them as a lock to say they will.
Sure.
I still feel it's Penrith is the team to be beaten, followed by, you'd say the Cowboys. They're playing better than Melbourne at the moment. And then you have Melbourne sort of Broncos, which is natural. Like they're the sort of top four.
Crazy thing is those Sharks beat the Cowboys.
Well, no, but I'm saying like outside of Sharkies.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Okay, but it's not. It wouldn't be the craziest idea.
I agree.
To see that happening like that. And I said, out of all those teams, whether it be good publicity or poor publicity, like the Storm at the moment, everyone's saying, they're gone. They're gone. What's going on there? They're not the team and blah, blah, blah. Penrith, talking up, unstoppable, unbeatable, hit a little speed bump at the moment with Cleary and Luai out. Everyone's talking up the Cowboys, even the Broncos. Like, how good are they going? And fantastic. Not one thing's been said about Cronulla.
Yeah, they're flying
and
on the
they're
radar.
third.
Yeah.
They are third on the ladder.
And they beat second at home.
That's right.
So they're the real deal. And I mean, Fitzgibbon, I sing his praises enough, but seriously, him and Toddy Payton, what an incredible achievement both these guys have achieved.
I wonder if either of those two may be Coach of the Year.
I'd say Toddy right now.
Yeah.
To go from 15th to second,
Yep.
I think you'd give it to Toddy.
Yep, true.
But seriously, you couldn't go wrong. I even think, and I know I've got Broncos bias, but I think Kevy deserves at least a mention.
Kev.
Great Kevy Walters. Took us from 14th.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we're in the top
he'd
five.
be in the nominations.
Surely he is the great Kevy Walters.
Yep.
How do you see this game playing out? Do you think the Sharkies get it done?
I think Sharkies. Yeah, I think what they'll be trying to do is just, hey, listen, we're coming into the business end of the year. Big out Will Kennedy, because I think he's been fantastic this year. But I think they just need to consolidate now. 5 games to go. Let's start getting our business right.
Absolutely.
We can't afford to be lackadaisical against the lower place teams.
Totally agree. And look, I'm not picking not favourites anymore because I got both my Smokies wrong last week. So I've lost me confidence, Smithy. Lost me confidence. I'm going Sharkies for the win. We're going to head to a break. Then we're going to come back and preview Sunday's game. How good is Sunday Arvo footy? It doesn't get much better. So make sure to stay tuned and we'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to the Captain's Run with Cameron Smith. Now, we've got 2 games to go, the Sunday games. Look, we've got Knights versus Tigers later on, but earlier on, we got the Bulldogs versus Cowboys. And Doggies fans get excited because I'm going out on a limb. I'm saying if they had started the year with this same setup, with this same energy, I personally believe they would be fighting for the 8. I think they're playing. I know they've won against teams that are a bit lower, but they have beaten Para, so it's not like it's out of realm of possibility. I personally believe that the Bulldogs right now are playing a high enough quality football to be challenging for the 8, and I think Doggies fans should be super excited for next year. How do you see this game playing out?
Look, I think now with where the Cowboys are at, coming off a strong victory last week as well, I think they win this game. This is being played in Bundy. Bundaberg.
Bundaberg.
Yeah, playing at Bundaberg, mate. It's so taking the game to the country, the Doggies boys are. Salter Oval, actually, 2 p.m. Sunday. Be nice and warm.
Oh, it'll be very, very
lovely
warm.
and warm and
humid as anything. Oh.
So we may see a little bit of drop ball. Don't know. See what the conditions are. But I think the Cowboys get this one done. Kyle Feldy's out for a couple of games with hamstring injuries. Were replaced by the Hammer on the wing.
Not a bad replacement.
Not a bad replacement. State of Origin player. Mick Potter, though, named the same 17 that beat the Newcastle Knights last week. And Doggies beat the Cowboys this year. Round 1.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
And
so,
that's when
like,
that was...
so there's been so much footy played and so many things
like
happened.
a lifetime ago,
That's
that
what I mean.
wet weather game.
So you sort of forget about this one, but they got their season off to a win. They were 1-from-1, the Doggies. A lot of things went wrong after that, but they lost a coach and lost a lot of games. But they're playing some good footy now. And Mick Potter, he's just got them up and about. And
Do you
in
think
a
we're
really good space.
seeing the research? Like, I'm not saying they're going to win a premiership next year.
No.
But do you think they've finally lifted themselves off the canvas as a club?
Oh, well, they've certainly shown that in certain games that they've played.
And the
Now,
people they've been able to recruit.
the players are asking for Mick Potter to stay on.
I mean, they should be.
That's right.
Look how much
I
they've responded.
think I've heard that. Like, yeah, well, why not? He's got a positive response from them, so
Yeah.
why not keep a guy on for another 12 months who's been able to get those players and this team to improve from where they were when he took over. But they beat them in round one. I just don't think that'll happen again this week. I put the Cowboys in the same boat as the Sharks, where, hey boys, we need to start like getting our minds ready and prepared for this final series. We need to be winning these games.
Ruthless. They need to be ruthless.
Ruthless, great word. I like it. Yep.
Yeah. They need to be going into games whether it's Penny Panthers
Don't care.
sitting across from us, or the Doggies or the Tigers or the Titans. We need to make it so uncomfortable for them that regardless, they feel like they're in a grand final match.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they need to walk off. The Doggies need to walk off the field going,
Holy moly.
that was an Origin type style game, and that's where I think that I totally agree with you. The Cowboys, they've got the squad, they've proven it. Now it's about the business end of the season. It's about delivering. Everything else before really does not matter.
Yep.
So, look, really, really, really good signs for the Cowboys. I will say, though, I'm excited for the Doggies. I think they're playing an incredible brand of footy.
Absolutely.
You know, I think Josh Adokar has been amazing for them. Their recruitment is incredible. They've got Kikau and Marnie coming next year.
Wow.
I mean, very exciting time for Doggies. Cowboys fans, as I said,
Yep.
you know, wow.
And they need to win these ones. Like the Cowboys, like they need to win these matches that they should be winning and everyone expects them to win. Like they should expect to win this one because you got to remember, like Sharky's sitting third, hot on their heels. Okay. If they drop a couple of these ones that they shouldn't lose, then all of a sudden, if they finish third, they give up home field advantage.
Yeah, which is
in that
massive.
first week.
Yeah.
So if you think, let's just say the top four don't change. If they play the Sharks first week of the finals, where do you want to play? Do you want to play in Townsville or do you want to play at Shark Park in Sydney?
Far out. Yeah, massive difference.
It's just
Heavy track down in
Yeah,
Shark
no,
Park. It's
like-
just a different environment.
no thanks.
Now, onto the Tigers versus the Newey Knights. Now, I will say, if the Newey Knights can't rev up for their brother in Klemmer,
Oh, Clem.
I don't know what's going on there. Surely, do you think that the Newey Knights are going to get up and because he's a liked player in the squad?
Yeah. Well, you want to see some fight, some go in the Newcastle players. But
Surely.
looking at the West Tigers,
What's going on?
what about their last fortnight?
It's been incredible.
Oh, they had a bludger of a decision against them when they played the Cowboys. Should have beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they took on the Broncos, beat them.
Yep. Convincingly
like
in the end.
comfortably.
Mm.
We're going away from them. And
Adam Dewey, how good.
they're just, how good. Loved his try when he just took them on off the scrum.
Yep.
Seen that space, I forget who was defending. Was it
Ezra Mam.
Ezra Mann, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was too. Yeah, he was just too wide, defended just a little bit too wide from the scrum. And you could see they went to a high shot as the ball was being fed into the scrum. And you see Dewey, he spotted it.
Yeah.
He's just creeping up. He just said, like, give me the ball.
Yeah.
Give me the ball and I'll score here.
Yeah.
So I love seeing that from halves.
Broncos were too honest there. They should have got offside.
Well, every other team does.
I know.
Every other team does.
Like, just get offside.
Last time you'll see him waiting the scrum.
Oh, absolutely.
Again.
Do you feel like, quickly with the scrum, do we need to do something about that? Maybe give a penalty instead of just a 6 again? Because every team is just offside and we're wasting a scrum.
Well, you can, but it doesn't really. It's no real difference because it's a scrum penalty, so it's a differential. They can't take 2 points or nothing like that.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, if
Are you saying it shouldn't be a differential? Like it should just be penalty. Do what you want.
penalty, you can take a kick to goal or you can kick out or whatever. Because I just think that teams are intentionally offside. Like it's, for example, in that game, the reason why it's fresh in my mind, in that game, literally the set before, the Tigers were intentionally offside.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I just wonder whether it's almost a professional foul. It's on your line. You're intentionally doing it.
Yep.
And look, I'm not saying that Tigers are the only ones. Every club does it. So I'm not. The Tigers were the better side.
It's hard to sort of now like try and introduce another rule for that because you look at every sport, Kempy. There's intentional fouls everywhere.
Yeah.
Like you look at basketball. Like when teams are trying to, in the last sort of like minute of play in the fourth quarter, if it's tight, like they foul intentional fouls. Soccer happens in soccer. Like if a defender knows that there's a striker running onto a long pass, like they grab a hold of the jersey, hold onto him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
I just like what he did. And I'm tipping the Tigers.
You're tipping the Tigers?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
They've been playing good. I know Jackson Hastings is out now and he's been great, but I think they beat Newcastle.
Okay, Tigers to get the win. Now we're going to head to a break. After the break, we're going to get to your texts. Welcome back to the Captain's Run. Time now for the tips. At the end of the show, we're going to run through the tips real quickly. Smithy, what do we got this week? We got the Roosters versus the Broncos. Who are you going?
I've got Roosters. Roosters at home, mate.
That hurts, mate. That hurts.
You?
I'm going Broncos, mate.
Okay.
Broncos.
Yep. Okay.
Storm versus Titans.
Storm.
Look, this is not spiteful, but I'm going to Titans. I'm not doing it out of spite. I'm not doing it out of spite, mate. I believe in the boys. I reckon they'll get up.
In Melbourne?
Yeah, look, I reckon they've got a lot to play for.
They've done it before. They've done it. They have. A long time ago, but they have done it. They've beaten Melbourne down there.
Sea Eagles, Eels.
I'm going to say Manly.
Yeah, I reckon too. Rabbitohs, Warriors.
I got the Rabbits.
Raiders, Panthers.
Penrith in a really close game. Wouldn't be shocked if Raiders win it though. You've said Raiders.
Raiders.
Yep.
Sharks, Dragons.
Sharkies.
Bulldogs, Cowboys.
I'm going to go the Cows.
Tigers, Knights.
The misery is going to continue for Knights. Unfortunately, I'm going to go Tigers.
Tough week. Thanks everyone for listening. We really, really appreciate it. Make sure to follow us on SEN League. Subscribe to us on a podcast, Apple and Spotify, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.